I know, my review for Jurassic World will be coming up pretty soon. Let's just get through these last two. The Lost World Jurassic Park is directed by Steven Spielberg, written by David Koepp. It's based on the novel by Michael Crichton and stars Jeff Goldblum, Julianne Moore, Vince Vaughn, and Pete Postlethwaite. And in The Lost World Jurassic Park, John Hammond once again sends a few people to Isla Sorna, which is this other island where the dinosaurs were being bred before being shipped off to Nublar for Jurassic Park. And Jeff Goldblum's character, Ian Malcolm, decides to go on this expedition of sorts because his girlfriend, played by Julianne Moore, was sent there. But when they arrive there, they discovered a lot of military people have arrived to wrangle some dinosaurs, bring them back to mainland, and just make a new Jurassic Park in the United States. Now, this is actually only the third sequel ever from Spielberg after Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom and The Last Crusade. And it's kind of clear now why he doesn't really make sequels anymore, because I don't know, in my opinion, while The Lost World does have great visuals and sound as always, it has a lot of issues, and ultimately it's just kind of boring. Now, the visual effects in The Lost World are even better this time around. There's a lot more CGI than there are animatronics in this movie, but the CGI is almost seamless, especially in the San Diego sequence when T-Rex starts wreaking havoc in the city. That all looks fantastic. And the cinematography from Janusz Kaminski is filled with these great and scary looking nighttime shots. There's a lot of great contrast going on. You get a lot of really cool images. And the sound design is just as good as ever, with lots more stuff going on audio-wise, and as more dinosaurs interact with different kinds of environments. And while the John Williams theme from the original is sorely missed from this movie, the score that he provides in this movie is still great. It really keeps the action up and running. And there are a couple of sequences edited by Michael Kahn that are elaborate and tense, especially the sequence wherein Ian, Sarah, played by Julianne Moore, and Nick, played by Vince Vaughn, dangle from this cliff inside a truck, like a trailer or something. It's just like the start of Uncharted 2 if you've played that game. And the Velociraptor ambush that happens later on in the movie, that's really, really exciting. Now, the actors in this movie aren't bad. It's just that they're just functional. They don't really have that much to work with dramatically. However, Jeff Goldblum is still inherently likable in this role, while Julianne Moore, for me, does enough with her character to really set her apart from how Laura Dern portrayed Ellie in the first movie. And despite the fact that I heard, at least, that Steven Spielberg was getting disenchanted with the movie as he was making it, there are still moments that Spielberg manages to make really scary, and some action sequences are very, very inventive in how they're created. However, I do have quite a bit of issues with the movie. For one, I feel like the pacing is just all over the place. This is the kind of movie that never really feels like it starts. You're just kind of thrown into the situation and suddenly you're doing things. It didn't feel like there was the right kind of build-up or introduction to these events. And the point of view shifts from character to character, but it's not cohesive at all. At a certain point you forget that Jeff Goldblum is your main character. There are certain points when you're just kind of following Pete Postlethwaite's character, and you don't really get it because, you don't really care about these characters. There's lots of unnecessary shots and sequences that drag the movie down because they focus on characters you don't even know the names of and stuff like that. Speaking of the characters, there's absolutely nothing to them. I mean, they couldn't even make Jeff Goldblum's character interesting. He was a supporting character in the first Jurassic Park, which is why he was so interesting. But here, because they gave him the most screen time, he's suddenly kind of boring. They made him more mature, but the way they did it wasn't very interesting enough. And the plot is paper thin. It replaces the moral drama of the original with a bunch of chase sequences, which is unfortunate. And there are certain moments where it feels like Steven Spielberg is directing on autopilot, especially some scenes between characters. They just really lack any real weight. However, I still do think that The Lost World Jurassic Park is kind of an okay movie. It's the kind of movie you watch as a kid, but then when you watch, you really like as a kid, but then when you watch it later on, it just is kind of boring. Alright, so those are my thoughts on The Lost World Jurassic Park. Have you guys seen it? What do you think about it? Did you love it? Did you hate it? Whatever you thought, whether you agree with me or not, please leave me a comment. Let's have a conversation.